Hello, this is Bruce Timm, producer.
I'm Andrea Romano. I'm the voice director.
James Tucker, producer on Justice League Unlimited.
I knew he was going to do that.
I have to clarify.
He's filling in for Kurt Gata, who could not be here
I'm
today.
a seat warmer today.
Glen Murakami, producer.
Will Friedle, I was the voice of Terry McGinnis.
And Batman.
And Kevin's
Yeah.
Batman.
Well, Kevin will always be Batman.
Yes.
New Batman, young Batman.
We're talking about Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman on our many incarnations.
Yes, but Terry is Batman Beyond,
Terry
or
is
Batman
Batman.
of the Future, depending upon which country you're in.
Or Batman Tomorrow, which is what I think when I was first cast, what the
I
show
think
was
that
actually
was.
called. Was Batman
Originally,
Tomorrow.
it was Batman
Yeah.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And everybody just thought that was just going to be too confusing. So, what are you watching today? Splicers.
I love this opening title.
I do too. Darwin Cook's work.
Really good
Mostly.
looking.
Good job. Sets the mood.
It really does.
So, Will, what have you been up to? A mouthful of water goes all over the place.
Thank you. What have I been up to? I've been, again, because of you guys and everything you did for me in this voiceover industry, I've been very lucky to be able to do some stuff after Batman Beyond, but nothing to quite this level, I think. This was a show that stood alone. Well, it's true. I mean, the whole Batman series and Justice League, all that stuff, it really does kind of stand by itself.
Girl, your dad must have had a spiz.
Ah, the lovely Cree Summer.
Beautiful.
Isn't messing with your DNA a bit drastic?
Even for you. Please.
Well, then why is the city trying to shut it down?
Lighten up, Terry.
Before we started here, I was just looking at our cast list cheat sheet sitting here in front of me, and I was once again struck by what a heck of a cast we had in this particular episode. It's like you got Ice-T, you got Stockard Channing, the Academy Award-winning Paul Winfield, Lauren Tom, Teri Garr.
Teri Garr, so wonderful. Terry plays the voice of Terry McGinnis' mother, Mary McGinnis. She was terrific. And Ian Buchanan is in this episode, too.
Oh, of course, Ian.
Yeah.
How could I forget
Yeah.
Ian? He's one of our favorite
Beautiful.
guest players.
Beautiful. Now, this voice we're listening to, the guy that was just talking, Mark Jonathan Davis is his name. He played a lot of our newscasters, announcers. He has a second career. He does sort of a lounge singing act, and his name is Richard Cheese.
Oh, my.
And he does any kind of contemporary music, but he makes it sound like a lounge singing act.
Cool.
And he's just hilarious. But that's when I first got to know him, was on this series.
Perfectly creepy is more like it.
One of the things I like about this episode is I particularly like the design overall of the entire episode. I like the background design of Cuvier's lab, and I like Cuvier's design. I think I was thinking Conrad Veidt. He was a cross between Conrad Veidt, the old silent and early talkie movie actor, and Boris Karloff. I think he's wearing Boris Karloff's outfit from The Black Cat.
Right.
Neat.
But
A lot of purple in the future, I've noticed.
yes, there is. That was Glenn's big contribution to the look of the show.
Yeah. I think so. West Side Story, I think.
I like
I remember you
purple.
were looking at a bunch of West Side Story stuff when you were designing everything.
I tried to make each show different from one another. So Batman had a lot of red in it. So for some reason, Batman Beyond had a lot of purple.
Come on, Mom, what about that little relic from your wild teen years?
Oh, Tara, please.
Glenn had this
That's different.
crazy idea that worked actually really, really well. To focus your audience's attention on the foreground characters, you'll notice that a lot of the characters in the background are all wearing, like, basically three colors. They're wearing, like, monochromatic color schemes that are, like, either blue and purple and a light purple, or, like, all browns or something, usually purple. But it's really effective. What's strange is sometimes people end up with, like, purple hair. But, hey, it's the future. It's the future.
That's right.
Future.
That's right.
Well, not only it does it seem like there's a lot of stuff that's purple in the future, but almost all the police officers and security guards, strangely enough, sound like Bruce Timm, which is also an interesting thing.
Well, I am the Jango Fett of the DC universe. All the policemen will be cloned for me because I'm so bad. So, but there you go, a lot of purple and blue people.
There you go.
Ice Cube.
There's
Ice-T.
Ice-T, I'm sorry.
Ice-T, that's okay. Another ice.
You can tell James didn't work on this episode.
Yeah,
You know what's
Getting
really
ice,
nice?
Ice Cube and Ice-T confused.
Really nice to work on this where because we have these characters that are human and animalistic, there's a combination of voice work and sound effects.
Yes.
So you hear somebody do a roar, and layered on top of that, you have these great effects that make them sound like animals, but there's still that human aspect to it. It's really nice.
This is actually, quite frankly, impossible. Terry's beating up these mutant people, like, with no problem. And then later on, when he's in the Batman costume, he has a hard time fighting them. I don't quite understand.
it's a cumbersome outfit.
It's also the widest train car I've ever seen.
Well, it's a vertical train. It's
Oh,
actually
like in
climbing
the
up the side
pilot
of the building.
episode.
Yes,
Like the
exactly.
first time you see Teri is he's in
very
one of these.
Good.
Wacky idea.
I had a lot of wacky ideas
You
for the
did.
future.
You really did.
Lauren Tom, very talented actress.
She was so nice.
Real versatile. She can play a 5-year-old child to an 80-year-old woman. She's really good.
You're the one who told me to keep an open mind to new things.
Personally, I
I think
think
that's Cree in the background doing double duty.
Right.
I love the silhouette he cuts. I mean, he's just really elegant but creepy. Cuvier. And Ian Buchanan, as I mentioned, was one of our favorite return featured players. We would, when in doubt, bring Ian in because he would always bring something to the table. He was one of our hat trick people. He was in both. He was in Batman Beyond. He was in Justice League, and he was in the revamped Batman episodes.
Pleasure to work with.
Yeah.
Just
I did
terrific.
that actually. I was pretty lucky. Well, I don't know if I did the revamp. I did Teen Titans, Justice League,
Right.
and Batman Beyond, which is
There
kind
you
of
go.
fun.
Yeah.
It's because we're unimaginative. We can't think outside the box. It's like, we got a part for Will. Will would be okay.
I haven't seen Will in a couple of months. Let's bring him in.
So I love
what's so
that
great about
set.
it.
That's a
Beautiful.
really cool set.
Beautiful.
It's a Paul Ravoche design.
strike tonight.
It's kind of Empire Strikes Backy, if that's an adjective.
Nice work too. Even though it's an action series, the acting by the voice actors is so good. It's not just
yeah.
all oofs and ughs and woes. It's really acting and reacting and playing with each other. And we were lucky enough to get almost this entire cast. I think we did get this entire cast in the room at the same time.
I seem to remember it was a
Ensemble
very full
record.
house, yeah.
And that's always great because then you can play against each other.
I met more amazing actors doing this show than I have doing anything else in my career. I mean, you just walk in. We'd usually do them once a week, and you'd walk into the room, and any given day there would just be some of the most amazing people. And Mark Hamill. I mean, just you can't even list the people that were there. It was incredible. It was just amazing to walk in and wonder who you were going to see.
Get to play with them all. It's just great. And there's that factor of not worrying about how they look. So you get all these on-camera
nice.
actors who are beautiful, wonderful actors, and they're so happy to come do voiceover because there's no makeup, there's no memorizing, there's no wardrobe. They come in with their voices warmed up, and they play for 2.5, 3 hours.
Some of them dress up anyways and come in looking very, very nice.
Yeah.
We won't mention who.
I wasn't wearing shoes by the end of the series.
It probably helped with your kicking haws.
I think it did
That's
the kicking
right.
ha. That's important,
right.
the kicking ha.
That's right.
Actually, you know what I remember most about this episode was throughout the entire series, this was the only episode that you guys ever gave me a reference to. And you sent me a copy of On Leather Wings from the original series to reference when I turn into the bat creature here. And it's the
Really?
only time throughout the
No
entire series that I
kidding.
was ever I got a call at my home from I think it was you, Andrea, who said we would like you to watch this older episode just to see kind of what we're looking for. And it's the only time it ever happened. It was great. So I got to go and watch On Leather Wings, which is a great episode, and kind of take it from there.
And one of the first ones we ever made,
It was
wasn't
the very first one.
Yeah.
That's really odd that we would do that because the sounds that the Man Bat makes in that show are completely synthetic. There's not an actor there at all.
Right.
That's interesting. What were we expecting you to make that sound?
I have no idea. It was just kind of
No, I think
you
it's
know,
that.
It was just reference, just
Yeah.
story-wise.
It's where he comes out and he's
Yeah.
half and half.
And he's
right?
talking while he's right.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that.
Oh, could be.
There's Stockard Channing.
Yep.
And Paul Winfield.
Paul
Come
Winfield, yeah.
on.
Oh, Stockard Channing. One of my biggest regrets, because I was a lowly storyboard artist at this time, was that I didn't get to meet Stockard Channing.
I didn't either.
Big fan.
No?
No, I never met
Oh,
Stockard
I
either.
don't feel so bad.
I never met
We
Stockard.
usually picked her up all by herself.
That's right.
Never
That's
met
right.
Stockard at all throughout the entire series.
Wow.
And there was a period of time she was in New York, and
That's
we'd have to
right.
get her
That's
via
right.
satellite record.
And then, of course, her replacement, Angie Harmon, we never ever met.
Nope.
We
Nope.
never ever once saw her in the flesh. She was
No.
she always did all of her recordings from New York.
Nope. There's Creed doing a second voice.
Cree is again one of our regulars that we use quite often, just because again she's so versatile. She can do like Andrea said, she can do, little children and old ladies and every age in between. And
Her little kid voices were scary. I mean, they were so dead on that it
Really
was
good.
you'd be sitting next to her and you couldn't believe
and
what
really
she was
funny.
doing. Yeah.
And half the things that she would say we can't say because
Absolutely not.
she would say something really really blue in one of those little kid voices and just kill you.
It's hysterical.
Everybody would not be able to breathe for 5 minutes.
Yeah, see, I think that was partially your voice.
It was.
There,
I heard
Will,
him. I heard Will in there.
then
It's
some
partially
effects.
mine and partially effects, I think.
Will made famous the famous "ruh" attack
Oh, that's
sounds.
right.
The
We
It was
always
a little a little
A
piratey.
little
Yes,
yes. See, right there.
They said they didn't like it, but that was, that was my thing.
Signature.
Yes.
That was your signature.
Yes, if ever I had to do some of your ADR if you weren't available, I would always have to think.
Of course. Terry was part pirate. That's what
Yes,
I
he
always
was.
say.
What we're talking about with ADR is after the picture is done, we go in and fix some of the action with some sounds that we didn't know what it was going to look like when we initially recorded it. So we look at the picture, and then we have somebody come through and do the those sounds. That stands for automated dialogue replacement. That's what ADR is. Some people are very good at it. Some people are not so good at it.
Speaking of which,
Paul Winfield, beautiful Paul Winfield, this stunning actor, he had the hardest time doing ADR. And you describe it to him, you say, okay, Paul, in this scene, you'll take a look at the picture and you'll see that you get punched and you get knocked into the wall. So what we need is the first sound is the as you get punched, and then the as you hit the wall. And you get 3 beeps, and on the 4th imaginary beep, make those 2 sounds. And so in the very first take we hear beep, beep, beep. Oh my God. Paul, it's more. And so we did 3 or 4 takes, and then I just turned and looked to Bruce, and I said, "We'll cover that later." Okay? So a lot of the lovely Paul Winfield's oofs and ughs were done by Bruce Timm, but that's okay because we got the acting that we needed from Mr. Winfield, and we were lucky to get him.
yes, absolutely.
I would have given money to see that.
We still tell the story.
It was a sight to see. It really was.
It was just kind of like, that's interesting. But yeah, it was, whatever.
I love this sequence.
It's very cool.
It's very scary. I have to tell you, this is very scary. The dog, the bat, a whole thing.
Oh, and
Yeah,
then Bruce
I
shoots
know.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh, there's a couple point blank gunshots in this episode.
Yeah, quite a few.
I love how it's the same gun from like the Justice League and the old Batman series. For a lot of it, you see that gun with kind of the
Yeah,
a lot of the stuff was
reuse
reused,
this
which I
gun
really
in Justice
liked.
League somewhere. I think it was in Blackest Night, I think. But yeah, well, it's a cool design.
It
you
is.
know?
It's a great design.
Yep.
It's too good not to use again.
It's a pretty kinky show, I have to say.
I love this episode. It's very
It's
very
twisted.
bizarre.
Yeah.
I think it was Paul's idea.
Paul Dini, yeah, probably was. I don't remember if this is something that Paul came up with originally or if this is something that Evan and Sarah pitched themselves, but it seems very Paul.
It does. It does.
Well, wasn't it right at the beginning of all the tattoo craze when everybody was getting tattoos
And pierced.
and
Oh,
piercing?
yeah.
Piercing. Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Nice storyline here about how Terry and Ace, the dog, don't have a terribly good relationship in all
But
the
they
past
bond.
episodes. And in this episode, they do. They bond. I think he even called him Scooby at some point in the first time you meet him.
Yeah, first pilot.
episode.
Back off, Scooby.
Right. Now, is this the episode? Forgive me, I haven't seen this in a while. Is this the one where Barbara tells Terry that she and Bruce used to be an item?
Yes.
Nope, that's-
No.
But she does.
That's Karari.
That's Karari.
But
That's
she
in fun-
does
okay.
suggest that he take on another career, that he
Right.
doesn't continue on doing this. That's
Right.
dangerous, which is something that we call upon in many episodes later. But we set it up here really early on.
Yeah, that was Kurari where she walks just into the Batcave. And
Right.
Terry's
Right.
going.
Right.
But she was Batgirl.
Wow.
Right.
That's right. And then met him up for coffee later.
Yep.
This is a really cool music cue coming up here. I don't remember who actually did this episode. I think it was Mike McQuistion. But this chase music here is really cool. It's one of my favorite Batman Beyond cues. But we don't have to stop and listen to it. Let's keep talking by all means.
Yes, when you watch it again later without the commentary, listen to the music in this scene.
The great thing about Batman Beyond was we could have this Batman do some things the other Batman wouldn't do, like run around with a gun.
Right.
Shoot his, basically the solution is to shoot all his enemies. But
Well, he's shooting them with
tranquilizers,
with,
but
with
even then-
antidote darts. But yes, it is definitely. Well, there's one rule that we're supposedly never ever supposed to do on Saturday morning TV is fire a gun towards the camera, and I think it happens like twice in this episode. There's one shot later on when Terry's fighting these guys, he like literally points the gun right in the camera and pulls the trigger, and it's like, wow, you don't normally see that.
No kidding. How'd we get away with
And
that?
they use it for a trailer.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. In the coming attraction trailer, that's right.
And we didn't get in trouble?
No, we didn't get in
They
trouble.
came up with it. They cut it.
Yeah, they cut it in. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I
It's a
think
great shot.
Old Batman would have found a way to put that same kind of dart in a batarang or something like that.
Well, he did shoot Terry in the last act.
That's
I
right.
mean, with the gun.
Yeah.
Right.
But,
He was out of the suit.
Yeah.
And once again, I will point out that, once again, the dog gets the best animation in the entire episode. I mean, this is actually a very beautifully animated episode. It's always been one of my favorites. The animation is very, very fluid. This is one of Coco's best shows. But the dog is beautifully animated in this show. It's very, very fluid.
And one of the best actors in all of Hollywood.
Yes.
Frank Welker does that, doesn't he?
No,
that's actually
really?
that's Rob Hargreaves' own dog.
Oh,
our sound guy.
Right, that's right.
Yeah,
You hear an
actually-
amazing dog animal, you assume it's Frank Welker.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, that's actually a library of sounds that Rob Hargreaves, he basically, played with his dog.
Yep.
And,
Got
Yeah,
to
we
sound.
still
got
use
a bunch of sounds from him.
We still use Ace
Yeah.
sounds.
That's so great. This is a very scary scene.
It gets better.
All the biting and
It is it's a
headbutting.
brutal episode, isn't it?
It is.
Most of the Batmans were the
Yeah.
Batman Beyonds were
Yeah.
pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because the show was originally designed to be more kid-friendly, and it ended up being a lot less kid-friendly than even the regular Batman show. I mean, there's a kind of nasty edge to this series that
Depending
that the
upon
old
your
Batman
kids,
show didn't
yeah.
have.
Yeah.
That's some nice animation.
It's really nice. No, it's fluid.
What studio was this?
This is Coco.
Let's just say I put the cat out.
Oh, corny gag. I love this bit too with the ring. The
Yeah,
nose
yeah,
ring.
the nose ring.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know why we don't see a big, bloody gap in his nose, but yeah, it's like, well, magically, hey,
Yep.
there's the ring.
Got the ring.
Did you reboard that?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I think that was actually in the script. I think that was right there. See, look at that, right in the camera.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Not supposed to do that. That's fast acting antidote, boy.
Yeah, exactly. The
Powerful,
transition was
instantaneous,
very
powerful.
It's a
powerful.
nice transition there.
Those are great drawings, too.
Again, yeah, I had
Pat McCowan, I think.
who did
Yeah.
boarded this section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was a good pose on the with the one leg up like that, the kind of off balance pose. It was very
Yeah,
cool.
so it was Bob
Bob Smith did the
Smith.
earlier act. I didn't know he
Brett
did the
Blevins
first
was
one.
the middle act.
Brett did
Right.
the library
Yeah,
sequence.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is Butch.
Oh,
Yep,
you're right. It
that's
is
right,
Butch
Butch, yeah.
Lukic. That's right.
Isn't it interesting how fluid it is considering it's 3 different people working on it, and
Oh,
yet
yeah.
it all looks like the same?
So, from an acting standpoint, after we would I just don't know. After we would finish recording an episode, how long would it take before you guys actually got it back and got to see something?
16 weeks?
I don't know. It's like 6 months, something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
It depended how much production was going on and what our delivery dates were, and
How late we were.
Now, I think the head of this chimera creature here, I think Glenn mentioned something about the Phantom of the Paradise. That was a movie that both Glenn and I really like, the old Brian De Palma movie. And I can't remember if it was your idea or if it was my idea, but you mentioned something about that. And so that's why he's got the black lips and the sharp teeth and the shape of the bird nose. So... And we also used the Phantom of the Paradise for somebody's eye shape once. I can't remember why, because he had a real,
I
real
can't
distinctive
remember.
eye shape. But so yeah, that's what
They
I
just
thought.
look like Butch drawings to me.
Really.
Yeah. All I see is Butch when I look at it.
That's funny.
yeah,
Very
this
cool.
transformation coming up is really disgusting.
Yeah, it's really nice.
truly disgusting.
Oh yeah,
And that
This
was Bruce.
that was my
Oh
design.
yeah, there you go, beautiful. This is not the part that girls really like the
No.
most. This is.
But boys go.
I know.
My nephews love it.
I think I ended up having to do some of Ian's line here because he couldn't quite get that distorted sound.
Right.
So.
And since we were going to technically play with it anyway,
Yeah.
it doesn't. You're not so worried about a voice match. But I thought you did a great job.
Oh, this has that great sound effects on the flap with Ace.
Oh yeah, when Ace bites his flap, his skin flap.
Ew, he's
yeah.
got that. Is it the skin flap with the little hairy things going on? He's got that one little skin area that's got like hair. It's
Well,
just
remember,
vile.
we had to
Right there.
retake it
Why?
because he actually tears off a piece
That's
of the
right.
skin.
Oh, that's right. Right
And
there.
That was it.
There's a
Ew.
right. He had it in his mouth at that point,
That's right.
and you had to retake it. I remember the rough cut.
That would be a little shocking.
That'd be a good extra, actually.
Completely forgot that. If we could find that footage, yeah. I
There's
don't think
actually
anybody
a
wants
model.
to see it.
Yeah, and he
There's
shakes
actually
his
a
head
model
and
of
throws
the
it
flap
away.
of skin.
Yeah.
It's nice to have those pieces that don't really exist other than what we have, just like outtakes that we didn't get to use.
We could just recreate the scene with a piece of salami. Yeah, see, Batman never did anything like this in his old show. No, this is definitely this is a whole new level of
Yeah.
ick.
Oh, it's future ick.
And then it's like every Batman episode. How do we end it? It's like just set everything on fire.
Blow it up real good.
It works. See, now all those roars, oftentimes we
And
won't even
that's-
ask an
that's
actor to
actually-
do
That's from
it.
Batman.
It is. Yeah, that's from the
Torch
fire
song.
the torch song, right?
Wow.
Yeah, we cut it in there because we needed a little bit more kaboom.
Yeah.
Or Batman or Superman.
No, it was Batman.
Batman.
You're right, it
Okay.
was torch song.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
exactly
yeah.
what it was. Yeah.
I'm okay now.
Listen to experience, kid. I appreciate what you've done tonight.
Very slight difference you made, Will, in the voice when you were Terry and when you were Batman. It was very subtle. It wasn't really broad at all, but it was very nice.
Oh, thank you. Words are small.
I did do a slight difference between the voice of Teri McGinnis and Batman for the simple reason that I thought Terry realized that he was a kid. You know, he was only 16 or 17. And I think in his own mind, he wanted to strike fear in the hearts of villains the way that Bruce Wayne tried to. And I think one of the things he thought he would do would be to deepen his voice and try to be a little scarier. So I tried to pick that up as best I could.
So, any other last thoughts here? Quickly, because we got about 5 seconds. Okay.
Terrific
Too late.
show.
Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, got a little bit more.
Watch it
Keep going.
again.